With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
All on Front Street with me, Jaguar, Wright, and Wolfgang Amadeuz is where truth takes center stage and no topic gets tucked away. This unapologetic, unfiltered podcast puts the real out front. Conversations that matter, stories they don't want told, and voices the mainstream tries to silence. From entertainers and authors to influencers, journalists, and independent business owners. No guest is off limits, and no conversation is too raw. If it's shaking culture, exposing industry games, or breaking generational curses, it's all going on Front Street. Dreams.
Yep. All on Front Street. Yeah, I just love this beat. This beat just does it. You know what I mean? Like, this is hip hop.
Feels like hip hop. Yeah. Not going with it.
Hip hop. All on Front Street.
I wish more people knew what that meant. This is hip hop. You know, it's just watching the world and seeing how like people have mistaken our culture for pop culture, and it's not the same. It's not the same.
No, not at all. It's a feel. It's you know, y'all know what it is. If you know hip hop, you know it ain't. You can't even explain it. That's like trying to explain God. That's like, you know, it's come on.
That's an interesting way of putting.
We are all on Front Street. All on Front Street. No, for real. You got it. You got to experience it. You got to have God in you to know God. Let's just keep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny because like different people have different, you know, spiritual experiences. Like shout out to Megan McGlover and everyone, please make sure that you run out and either get you a digital or a physical or an audible version of Tell the Truth, her new book. It's really amazing. But even we were talking about the house movement and how, you know, people keep forgetting like what a spiritual experience the house movement was. And you know, there's certain parts of our culture, our music, our history where you feel closer to God. It's just, it brings you right there. So you know,
right.
We can't just say it's just hip hop, you know. It's just, but the funny thing is all of these, you know, God driven, you know, emotions and stuff that we have tend to all come from music that derives from our people. God people.
There it is. Because what I'm saying is, what other music or that's globally that's out there like that people are rushing to play or be a part of. You really don't hear nobody running around saying, "Hey, we chilling. Let's put on that Afro beats." You know what I mean? Like, you either gonna play some old school Aaliyah, you gonna play some old school hip hop. I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. That's all. And maybe I'm a little biased, but you really are not hearing people. Oh, we're gonna play that. Let's play some Sosa. Let's play. You know, no, they.
Well, I mean, those, don't get me wrong. All of those different genres of music, they inspire a certain vibe, but not just where people really come together. Like it. But it's the same thing with gospel music. You know what I mean? There's this everything that comes from our true indigenous people. It inspires congregation. It inspires, you know, just community. And I guess there's no other way to say that. And let's just be honest. There's a lot of things that aren't happening in our community anymore that we're not acknowledging. So let's just segue that right into rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner, who was definitely, you know, one of the key figures in our culture that was recognized, revered, and highly respected, from television to the poetry world to the music world. You know, he was doing his own podcast as well. Not all hood. Salute to that. You know, we could talk about his many, many years in television, from The Cosby Show all the way up to The Resident. He always played characters that embraced the better of our people, that always, made us look good. He was always very deeply in tune with the idea of being a great representation for his people. And he lived up to that until he was no more. And as we heard, or it was announced late Sunday into Monday morning, that at the age of 54, even though some reported 53.
Yeah, that was weird. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, he passed away, which is odd. It's strange for me because I knew him.
Yeah.
I knew Malcolm, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful guy, and he's the guy that every girl wanted to, every girl's parents would want that kind of guy. That's the guy you bring home. But he was also a brother, and he was also a supporter. And, I'll never forget the last time I called him, and we lost touch right before I went, completely nuclear on the industry, and threw the middle fingers up. But I had reached out to him because I was trying to put together, a gig with him, me, him, and Ndambi. We were going to try to do a couple of cities, and, he had the time. He was in between projects, and that was, I think, like right before he was about to get another TV show. And so it didn't happen. And and that was that. But, throughout the years knowing him, I'll never forget when, they came after Cosby, and then they came after the Cosby Show. And, a lot of people don't like to take into consideration that when they took that TV show away, there was a lot of Black people who performed on that show who lost a lot of their, income. They lost all of their royalties. It was no longer playing. It was taken out. It was banned. It was this. It was that. I mean, even the guy that played, what was her name? The oldest daughter's
Denise's husband. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not Denise's husband. It was Sandra, the oldest one.
Oh yeah, it was Sandra. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Sandra's husband, and I can't remember what his name is right now, and I feel bad for that. And I'm sure we'll figure that out sooner or later. But when they had reported, someone had reported on social media that they saw them working in, I think it was something like Home Depot, and they were like,
it wasn't Home Depot.
It wasn't Home Depot.
What was it? It was Trader Joe's. And
it was Trader Joe's.
His name was Elvin, but his real name was Jeffrey Owens. Remember?
Yes, Jeffrey Owens. Got it.
He was working at Trader Joe's, and they shamed him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were, they just went in on him, and nobody paid attention to. Part of the reason why that was even necessary at his life was because after the takedown of Bill Cosby, they took down all of that revenue that, from all of those Black people that had absolutely nothing to do with Bill Cosby or his cases. And I remember during that time, Malcolm was working really hard. I would call him and speak with him from time to time. We weren't, I won't say we were the best of friends, but we were definitely good associates and acquaintances. And we had great respect for each other's work. He was a fabulous poet. And he appreciated me as a writer and my music. And he was the kind of brother that, like I said, always really looked out. So, when I think about that, like he was out that year, he was not playing with pilot season. He was, after that was gone, like he was boom. He was right back at it, but he handled that with such grace. And I don't think anybody realized how any of them, handled that. And now it's weird to see people having all of this conversation about the Cosby Show, about this, about that. And it's like, y'all weren't talking about all of that when that happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when that happened, nobody was like, hey, we understand, you guys want to take the cars down, but what about Felicia Rashad? What about, Lisa Bonet? What about Tempest Bledsoe? Like, how is this affecting all of these people? The community didn't jump up to protect them and what they had worked for and what they had put into it. And it's like now seeing everybody kind of like, oh my God, the Cosby Show. Now that he's gone, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
No, like you say, it's people are not looking at the ramifications of everything that goes on. Like it's a ripple effect, just like you mentioned, Jeffrey Owen and his situation. And I had to think about it. I was thinking about Malcolm Jamal Warner and the projects that he's done. In fact, I got a film from the home. He's a local LA legend. He did a thing called King of the Underground. And Malcolm Jamal Warner did a cameo in his film. He was an independent film, like I was independent, he was independent. He came from hip hop. I forgot my guy's name, but yeah. I got to reach out to him. But Malcolm just kind of just showed up and like just gave him a cameo. If you look it up, it's a film called Kings of the Underground. Shout out to my guy. This name slips my mind right now. I know I'll remember it towards the end. But Malcolm was out there. Malcolm was a good dude. And
no, period. Like there are very few people, like how people talk about, Tom Hanks being, the most likable guy in Hollywood. Nobody ever talks about our people like that. And if we had to have someone, I would have to say it was Malcolm. Like I would definitely have to nominate him for most likable black dude in the Hollywood game, in that industry. And he really stayed away from the Hollywood whoop-de-woo and hoopla and all of that. Like he really didn't. Yeah. He was just a solid person. And, even now, he had moved to Atlanta, got married, became a father for the first time after all of these years. And, he's just living his life. And, I don't want to get too cheesy and I don't want to get too greasy either. But to see content creators making money off of his final post.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
I just thought that was kind of cheesy because it's not like it was something, for people who, I don't know. And I guess that's the hardest part about it. Like you wasn't following him on social media like that. I don't ever remember seeing any of these content creators who are literally sitting there crashing out and just abusing his last social media posts and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you're putting it up on your monetized channel and you're getting all of these likes and all of this engagement and all of these subscribers and all of this everything. Were you ever really a supporter of this man or anything that he did? Did you share any of his TV shows? Were you showing clips of him from any of this stuff? And now all of a sudden, I don't know why, but it's just, content creators have become like grave robbers to me. Like they remind me of the people that wait for the family to leave and then they go and then they pull it back up and then they just strip the body of anything of value to take it to the pawn shop. Like it's just feeling that way to me now. I don't know. Maybe I'm too far, but
nope. And you're right. And not only they strip your gold, they'll get your organs if you could. Like trust and believe, I guarantee these same content creators, if they could, I ain't gonna go there. These people are disgusting. That's all I really could say. Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yeah, that last video of him, and they exploited that. It's just sad.
There's a few content creators that just grab that, and it's him talking about being positive and being a blessing
with
and
his daughter. Like being a father.
And being a father and just, with his little flower that his daughter gave him. And you could tell she was still young, and I don't know. It's just to me, like, I know how egregious this whole thing gets, me even coming to YouTube to fight for the validity of my name while people were taking advantage of everything. They were literally going to my Instagram. Like, if people realize that part of the reason why I don't post like that on Instagram is because of the content creators, because it's considered just open content.
No, they're not content. They're not content creators. They're content robbers. Let's call them who they are. Because you're not creating anything. Yeah, you were on Instagram even when I met you. You were just doing your lives, and people were taking that and making millions off of it.
Yeah,
you were not seeing a dime.
Yeah, and nor do they contribute, and nor do they donate. And the sad part is that goes to show you, these aren't people who support people. These are people who are looking to take advantage of people. And I just want to say to everybody who's out there doing that right now, regarding Malcolm Jamal Warner, regarding his content, like, shame on you, for real.
Yeah.
Like, shame on you, because you're not. And it's crazy because it's all the same kind of people that are nowhere near the kind of person he was. And it's always that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they feel as though, this is a moment in time. They're going to make some money. The Diddy trial is over. There's not a lot of, people are fighting, for whatever. But it's still no excuse. It's still no excuse. I mean, you were saying.
Yeah. No. I was just, hey, I really, it's just a rest in peace, and it's sad that this is where we're at with the just the level of debauchery when it comes to celebrity. Like, celebrities could be regular people, and they should have the right to be regular, and nobody trail them and spec them down and all that. I saw TMZ when he passed. They were like, "Oh yeah, well, here's footage of him getting on the airplane going to Costa Rica." Like, God, did y'all, like, what were y'all doing? Y'all were following him up, like, y'all. If he had a movie that dropped, y'all probably wouldn't have promoted. If he dropped,
I don't ever remember them promoting anything about him. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that vulture, like, it's the last moments of him before he passed away.
Yeah.
Like, the simple fact that he refused to allow his wife or his child's name to be released to the public because of predatory people.
Exactly.
Just like this,
Yeah.
And it's
again, shame on TMZ. That's sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
It's very sick because y'all weren't worried about him, but see, this adds to how they work, how the media is working. And that's why, I think content creators like yourself and myself, what we're doing with our blogs, with the content that we release, the videos that we put up, we're creating a space where people can actually get actual real information and real intel without it being salacious, without it being, all about how to make a buck off of somebody. And it's, I don't know how many times I've heard people say, she just sits online and she makes money talking about people. Actually, no, I don't, G. I really haven't made a lot of money. I don't do it for that. Yeah, I mean, should me as a content creator, should me as a journalist be able to make money from the work that I do? Absolutely. But the truth is, that was never my goal.
Yeah.
That was I wanted to make sure that the people got the information. And meanwhile, they like to talk about me, but they don't ever want to hold any of these other outlets or content creator so-called whatevers. You know what I mean? They don't ever want to hold them responsible for the way that they take advantage of media, how they take advantage of social media, how they take advantage of public figures, their lives, their details, and use it to make money. And meanwhile, you don't ever hear them promoting what these people were really about. No, it's just that moment. And now here we are. The distraction has become completely confused. TMZ don't know what to talk about, and now all of a sudden they got footage. The question is what law enforcement agency handed that over to you? Because you were not following Malcolm Jamal Warner, which means you were able to get into either some kind of TSA camera or something. Like, how are these people always Johnny on the spot and nobody's ever really calling them out on it?
Well, we're calling them out on it. And yeah, they should be ashamed of themselves. All those content creators who are vultures, you definitely should be ashamed of yourself. And all I'm gonna say is rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean that's
all I'm gonna say.
I mean, same to me. It was weird. The second that I heard about it, you remember what my reaction was, and I was going to go live and I was going to do an acknowledgement, and then I just started watching and I started seeing how everybody else was just, and it just made me sick. It made me sick, like, to go through YouTube feed and to see him and to see his posts, and I'm like, this ain't his channel. This ain't his YouTube channel. Yeah. It just, for someone who knew him, it made me sick. And instantly I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna post. I'm gonna say a prayer. I'm gonna say a prayer for his family. I'm gonna keep it quiet, and we'll acknowledge it here in the pod, but I'm not gonna make this content. If the people that knew him and that actually had a real interaction with him, anybody who had a real connection to him, even fans who followed him, who posted him, who followed him on social media, like, for real, it should be his fans that should be pissed off at these content creators that are running around jacking the content that he made specifically for them. They should be the people that really, like, his fans should be going after every content creator like, yo, Joe, he made those posts for us. What you doing making money off of it? You never posted anything up. You wasn't in any of the days. You're like, these are the moments where fan bases really need to step up and let people know the outrage that they feel about people taking advantage of, people that they revered and that were beloved to them. But they don't do that. They just like it and don't even pay attention to what's really happening. Or maybe that's part of the reason why it was necessary for us to have this conversation, to hip these folks up on that so they know what to look for and so they know what it's really hitting for. Personally, me, I'm still grappling with the notion of how he passed away.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to go deep off into that right now, but yeah, what it is.
I'm not trying to do a deep dive into it. What I am trying to get to the bottom of is, like, that got to the news really fast.
Yeah.
Like, we don't cover international news like that here. Like, I can't remember. Like, it got here really, really, really fast. And
they said it happened on the 20th. Costa Rican time. It was about 2 p.m. in Costa Rica time. So I guess where are they at, Costa Rica? If Costa Rica's like specific
South America
time almost, right?
Is it?
But yeah,
I thought Costa Rica.
Yeah, Costa Rica is Central America.
Okay.
Yeah. But it hit like it actually was like what 2:00. So they're like an hour ahead. An hour ahead of a specific standard, and they're 2 hours behind New York.
So like Central Time,
right? Yeah,
or
2
Mountain
hours
Time.
behind Eastern. 2
Mountain
hours
time.
behind Eastern. I think it's 2 hours behind. Yeah, but
yeah,
hour behind. But anyway, it's like it
that
hit
made
like
like a bullet, and I'm just like, it was an accidental drowning. I can't see why the authorities would have been like, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not like he was there working on a film. It's not like he was there working on a movie. He was there on a private family vacation.
It's almost like the Left Eye thing.
Yeah.
But Left Eye, that's a whole nother man. See, like I said, that's why I said I don't want to dive into that just yet, but yeah.
I don't want to
Anyway,
dive into it just yet, but the simple fact that that news could make it from a place where, like, it just, it's not like it was a plane crash. It's not like it was a boat. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how were they able to get the information, from the authorities there, and it was labeled this? Like, how long was he out there in the water? Like, and I think that's the thing that people really don't pay attention to, how information gets to us, the way it gets to us, and why that information. It would have made more sense if we had heard about it this weekend. You know what I mean? This coming weekend. But for that to happen, how long was he out there? How long did it take for them to find him? He was like, and then boom, TMZ's all over it. And then boom, they got the footage of him on his way to Costa Rica. Like, it's like they're sitting here marketing pain and marketing trauma, and nobody's asking why.
Well, you already know my guy Ani, the shout out to the Spiritual Shade Room on IG. He was already on it. He dropped it. He said he broke it down.
What did he say?
He broke it down and said, it's blatant blood sacrifices, rituals of the elite. Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away today in an accidental drowning with limited details. He's known for his role in The Cosby Show. Theo Huxtable, he died at 54 years of age. The Cosby Show equals 54 in gematria. The Jesuit order main number is 54. The Sun Code, Jesuit order is 54. Malcolm played the son of Cosby. There's also some other stuff. He went in though, but blood sacrifice was 86. Also accidental drowning, 86. He stays on it. He stays on it. But I told him, I hit him soon as I got this other news, and got some breaking news where Ozzy Osbourne, he just recently passed away at 76 years old. And my guy already went. I was like, I already know you want it. And he's like,
shucks, what did Ani say?
He retweeted. So basically, yeah, he just dropped this on the Spiritual Shade Room 1 on IG. Ozzy Osbourne was born December 3rd, 1948, died July 22nd. Ozzy Osbourne himself is 201. And
201.
201 is the Jesuit order. Malcolm, and he talked about Malcolm Jamal Warner death came on his 201st day of the year, and the Cosby Show had 201 episodes. He dies on the final. He dies on the first day of the final 163 days of the year, matching the gematria for the Osbournes, which equals 163. And he also died in the 163rd week. In his 163rd week, I guess. No, in this 163rd week was a June 13, 2022 spinal surgery. The same surgery many speculated marked his decline, because I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, I was seeing Ozzy Osbourne in the news on my little feeds, just out of nowhere for the past few months, and I was like, okay, yeah, something's up, something's going to happen. But yeah, again, here's another thing. Let me just go into real quick about Ozzy Osbourne. What is it? He had that one album in 1980 called The Blizzard of Oz. And it had songs like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley.
Speaking of Aleister Crowley.
Right. Cementing his reputation as rock's Prince of Darkness. So in his early years, people, they remember him from Black Sabbath. They remember him for biting the head off a bat. But in during a live show, Ozzy, he bit the head off of what he thought was a rubber bat, but it turned out to be real. But what's less publicized is that later that same tour, he accidentally bit into a live pigeon.
I thought it was a chicken.
Yeah, it was a live pigeon. Yeah, we talked about it. And he got fined in London for that. You get fined for stuff like that.
You want to know what I find interesting? He got fined for it?
Yeah,
And yet they're putting, people into mental hospitals for far less and without any real evidence of mania. Because that just sounds like mania.
I mean,
that sounds like mania. Like you're literally sitting there biting into a living thing to unalive it in front of an audience. Like
it's an okay. It's I guess it's okay. It's a sacrifice. If you really think about it, it was a sacrifice.
No, it's definitely a sacrifice, and you're offering real live BLOD. Yeah. So it's like
you said BLOD?
I said BLOOD.
It sounded like you said one. Oh, I was like, you talking about blood, like Inglewood. Blood, what up, blood? Go ahead.
No, but no, seriously, it's just that sounds. You know what I mean? It's just funny how when certain people do certain things, they get totally passed over as eccentricity, and then other people do certain things and it's passed off as mania and you need to be put in the hospital. It's just wild to me, like the stuff that they get away with. But once again, there are certain things that are celebrated in pop culture that we don't even ask why. We just ride with it. We just let it all rock. And I don't know. I think people need to really start just getting real with themselves. Like this is, and we welcomed them all into our homes. We watched their, their reality TV shows, when we saw all kinds of stuff going on, and we don't ever question any of this. So here you have one of the most wholesome characters on television, and then one of the most like out there insane characters, and they pass away within 48 hours of one another, and it's just interesting.
I mean, yeah, I'll say rest in peace to him too, even though I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know too much about Ozzy until, of course, I knew about Black Sabbath, but then I didn't really know about him until the reality show. So
well, I used to love Black Sabbath records until I went, when I was younger, and I studied why they called it Black Sabbath, and it was because they were cursing.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
they were literally cursing God, and I'm like, oh wow, it was the whole idea of the band. And then now you have these other rockers coming out. What's the name of the not Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains, not Change.
Not Alice in Chains. I said Chains. I said Chains. I didn't say Change.
You said Change.
You got me all messed up. That's not what I said. But if that's how it sounded, my apologies. Alice in Chains. I'm trying to remember which one of them it was, or was it Metallica that said that they were using their music as a gateway to Satanism? Like they actually admitted it. That's what it was for. I'm trying to think. Was it Metallica? I can't remember which band it was. But we got to ask ourselves, why don't we ask more questions about the stuff that we listen to? When I first saw them trying to find a way to make the Osbournes more marketable in pop culture, I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. And we choose who we let into our homes. And once again, this is no slight on anyone. And I'm sure the family, they're going through it, and we send them our condolences. But the question is, when you spend your whole entire life creating these satanic rituals, who's to say that this is considered a bad thing for them? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it to be cruel or saying it to be. This is what they believed in. These are the things that they practiced. So,
right.
I just think that it's wise for everyone to, offer your condolences if you would. But we probably should just mind our business, because we don't understand the true ramifications about what's going on with with these kinds of figures. It's it's a lot, and it's funny. We lose one for the good guys and one for the bad guys all at the same time.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's just duality. But shout out to Ani Toro for throwing the spiritual shade on it and giving us an idea of possibly what's really going on in the background.
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing that I do know. There's going to be a lot of insurance policies cashed out these coming weeks.
Yep. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it. But yeah, you were saying the band was Slayer that was saying.
Okay, it was Slayer.
And I remember Slayer from just the Beavis and Butthead days. They said gateway to Satanism due to their
Slayer
lyrical themes and imagery.
My apologies, Metallica, Alice in Chains.
Yeah, Metallica's dope. Enter the Sandman.
I love Metallica. No, I love Metallica.
Come on. But yeah, they're the ones. And like I said, I had a buddy who was in the industry, and he was talking about these inverted crosses and all that stuff. Pentagram. They do that. People are real wicked. Now,
Alice Cooper is another one. Alice Cooper, school's out for summer.
Speaking of wicked, let's end it on this note. There's a Texas woman facing charges after investigators say she plotted to murder her ex-husband by sending him a box of chocolates laced with fentanyl. So the Parker County Sheriff's Office initiated their investigation after a source alleged that 63-year-old Pamela Jean Stanley had wanted to kill her husband, who had recently become engaged. God, these women cannot see a man happy. Anyway, investigators said Stanley was recorded. Stanley was recorded saying she wanted to buy and inject fentanyl into a box of chocolates and send it to her ex. She also planned to make the chocolates appear as if they were a congratulatory gift from a travel company, along with the honeymoon promotion. This is what the sheriff's stating. Undercover agents with the Office of Special Crimes, they convinced Stanley to meet them to buy fentanyl in the parking lot of a motel in Coleman, Texas.
So they got word what she was cooking.
Yeah, she had possession of 9.5 grams of the methamphetamine stuff, and she's been indicted for criminal solicitation with the intent to commit the M word and criminal attempt to commit the M word and possession of a controlled substance with the intent to deliver. Jeez.
Okay, and she's 63, 62.
She looked like Heather Smockler.
Okay.
For those who know, she looked that was that lady. That it looks like that lady that was trying to sell me that
She's trying to sell you more than a taste.
that bottle of Uncle Nearest. And yeah, but no, yeah, she looked crazy. I mean, shout out to the husband, the ex-husband, for getting engaged and getting away from this crazy. Oh man, I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
Well, first things first. That was a very elaborate plot, an elaborate scheme. You gonna try to take this couple out with a box of chocolates. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And you were going to make it seem like it came from a travel company trying to do some kind of promotion for the honeymoon. Like, that's a lot. The question is how did the cops find out about it? And who did she tell this to? Who did she tell this to? Like, she didn't, like, come on, like, because this was a sting.
That's a good question.
This was a sting operation.
How did the cops know? That's a good question. How did this get on their radar?
Like, exactly, because that means in order for it to have gotten on your radar, they would have had to gotten information from someone who was considered a credible enough source to say, hey, this woman is planning this, for them to be able to go in and do a sting to get her to admit that this is what she would like. Come on. It's a lot. That's a lot. Like the when I think about the law and how the law be playing and all of the stuff that they be doing, that's the first question that comes to my mind. Who was the one that ratted her out to the cops? And who was she running around running her mouth to? Because that don't sound like somebody that's working on all of them cylinders.
Nah.
Like, that's a very, very, very elaborate plot that seems like something that she probably got off a Lifetime movie or something. So, like, I don't know. I got to ask questions about the police on this one. Y'all went through all of this trouble to trap this woman up. Well, who was the lead? Who's your CI? Who's your snitch? Was it the fentanyl dealer?
Good question.
Because that's what it's starting to sound like.
Good question.
It's sounding like you got it from somebody who was rocking off in that community to begin with. That's what it sounds like. So the question is, who y'all letting operate?
Yeah. Well, another unfiltered conversation about morning legends and fentanyl in your chocolate. Life is like a box of. No, it ain't. Not like a box for her.
She Forrest Gumped her way into a triple life sentence, is what she did. She Forrest Gumped her way into commissary and walk in the yard. It's ooh, man. I don't know why, but it just feels like there's going to be more to this story. It feels like there's going to be a lot more to this story. And this is an older white woman too?
It's Orange is the New Black meets freaking Breaking Bad. All right.
Meets Breaking Bad, you mean meets the Golden Girls.
Oh, damn. Thank you for being a fiend. Not thank you for being a friend.
Jeez Louise.
Thank you for being a fiend.
You a mess. With your remixes.
All right. I think we're up out of here, though. Let's go.
Yeah, that's that. Oh, my God. The world is really going crazy.
It is.
Crazy.
But we put it all on Front Street. All right.